Hello everybody, we're back again with some more Photoshop Elements tutorials. I am teaching you guys how to do Photoshop Elements one step at a time. And so today we are going to make this page. It's just a little 6x6 thing to show you exactly how to bring in photos into the program and how to create some text and how to make a new document. And we're going to turn on our rulers. So these are some things that are very important and you'll want to know when you're using the program. So let's get started. I'm going to just minimize this for now. And first we're going to start by opening a new document. So we're going to hit File, New, and then Blank File. And I want my whole page to be a 6x6, and those are inches. So, and you can also, do pixels. Pixels and inches are the ones I use the most. So today I'm going to use inches. So I want to back out that 4 and put a 6 there. And for height, I want the same thing. I want 300 resolution, RGB color, and I want a white background. Then I'm going to hit OK. All right, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me get that out of there. Okay. Just grab onto the top there to move it over to the center. And then if you want to make a little bigger so you can see it, you just grab these edges till you get the arrows and hold your mouse button down and drag. Okay. Now if you want to zoom in and out, you can do that here. You go to View, zoom out, and zoom in. Okay? But I want to be able to see how big this is all the time. I know it's a 6x6, but I want to see that. So we're going to hit View again, and we're going to put a check mark by this rulers. Okay, now see what happened? These rulers came up here on the edges. And now we can see that this is 6 and 6, okay? So we know it's a 6x6. Okay, so we just opened and did a new document. So now we're going to bring in some elements to put on this. So this would be something you could do to make printables if you're bringing in design elements. If you're doing scrapbooking, you can bring in your photos and add some text. So that's why I'm showing you this. So this is kind of a little 6x6 scrapbook page, if you will. Okay, so to bring in some elements, which I'm going to bring in some photos or some pictures, I'm going to hit File and then Open. And then you're going to navigate to where these pictures are on your computer, and so you would have to know that. And then you can hit if they're all in a row, or you can hit the Control, or if they're all in a row, I'm going to hit the Shift key and highlight them all, and then I'm going to hit Open, and they're going to come in, and there they are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize them, so then they will be down below here in my photo bin. So I'm going to hit the minimize. That one's pretty small. Okay, there we go. So now if I hit my photo bin, then we can see my blank page. We can see the one I already had in here where I showed you what we were making, and the 3 photos that I just brought in. Okay, so now we want to move these photos onto the page. Okay, so let's start with Singing in the Rain here. So we're gonna, if you click on him, he just comes up. You can drag if you want to as well, but since it's already up here. We're gonna make sure the Move tool is highlighted, and then we're just going to click on this and hold the mouse button down and drag it, and see the little plus sign there, and you can let go, and look how small it is. So we want to resize it. So it already is highlighted with the Move tool is on, the bars are around it, the little handle square thingies, and it is this layer is highlighted. Now One thing that kind of makes it easy, I don't do it very often, but if you want to keep your layers straight, you can rename this one. We'll call it Singin' in the Rain. Oh my gosh, I can't see, sorry. Okay, so now I know that that's the Singin' in the Rain picture because this is very small. I can't see that at all. Okay, so I want to make it bigger, so I'm going to hit the corner. Remember in the last video, if you didn't see it, I showed you kind of how to move things around a little bit. If you pull the sides, you're going to make it wonky. And same with, you know, any of these sides. So if you want to keep the perspective in order, then use the arrow that makes the diagonal in the corners. Hold down your mouse button and pull. Okay, so that's a pretty good size. And I'm going to move it up here, and maybe I want it rotated a little bit, so I'm going to hover the mouse around that until I get the curvy little arrow. Hold that mouse button down again, and then just slightly move it. And if you like where it is, then you can apply by clicking that green check button. Okay, now let's bring the next photo in. So let's bring in Gone with the Wind. That time I did the drag instead of the clicking. And it's really small, so I want to make it bigger. I'm going to grab the corner again. I'm going to move it over here, and now this is a little in, so they're a little too close together, I think. So I'm going to click this one again, make sure the bars, and then I'm just going to hold my mouse button down in the middle and drag it over a little bit like that. Now we have two layers over here, Gone with the Wind and Singin' in the Rain, and I didn't even change that, so I think it's just naming, I don't know, name the picture. Usually you have to go in there and rename them, so must be the name of the photo. Okay, so now we want to bring the next one in, which is the African Queen, and I'm going to put it right here where this space is, and then I'm going to put my text over here. So let's drag that up, and I'm going to hold it down, and usually what happens is when you drag these up, they always hit the center. So if you have things on top in the middle, and you bring something in and it goes underneath, you will see it over here, but you may not see it here except for these dots and little squares. So at that point you can, you know, move it up or down in the layers palette to where you can see it, or you can just hold your arrow down keys if you want to. That's what I'm doing now, and move it until it's out of the way of something so you can see it. But okay, so now I want to make it bigger, so I'm grabbing the corner, and you can, you know, grab any corner. Okay, I like that, but I still think this is a little too low. I'm going to move it up. Okay, and maybe this one over a little bit, and you just play with them until until you're happy with it. Okay, so now I want to add some text. So I'm going to hit my text tool, and let's see, I think Bickley Script Regular. It's a nice scripty font that I like, and I think that's the one that was in, yes, at the. So since I have that one on there now already, I'm going to use that one first. So I'm just gonna type in at the. We're gonna do kind of backwards. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit my text, just move to another spot on the page and hit text again. And the next text that I want, I think, is Bernard. Yeah, this one, Bernard condensed. And I'm going to hit classics. And so the line's there, and I have the little plus sign there at my cursor. So I'm going to hold my key down, my mouse key, and move that down. Now I think it's just a little bit big, so I'm going to change the size by clicking on the text, and then I'm going to highlight it, and then I'm going to go down to the text sizing thing here down at the bottom. This is where the details are for each tool that you're using. So the size of the text, you can hit the drop down, and I'm going to take it down to like 48. Let's see. Oh, that's too small. It's more like a title, so 60 is what I'm going to do. And if you don't like any of those numbers, you could actually just highlight the 60 and type in whatever you want there. Okay, so let's get that centered where we want it. And then Riviera is the same, the Riviera is the name of our movie theater in town. So it's the same font that I want. So I'm not going to change the font or the size. And Riviera. And I'm just going to kind of center that. Okay. Now if I wanted classics and Riviera to maybe line up on the left side, I can hit the move tool. I can grab classics, and then I can move down, and once you see the blue box around the item that you want, I can hit my shift key, click that, and now they are both movable together, but not the centerpiece, not at the, is what I mean. Okay, so now they're still highlighted, and if I want to align the tops I can, but that would be silly because then Riviera would be on top of classics. That would be weird. So what I want is the left. And it didn't really move very much because it's pretty much lined up now, I don't even think, but let's just unline them. I'll just move this one over. Okay, so this one's highlighted. I'm going to hit my shift key, make sure I see the blue box. Okay, now I want to align these, and I'm going to hit left and see how Classics moves over there and lines it right up, which is perfect if you're doing titles or you want something to be perfectly lined up on the edge. It makes it so easy. So then you can move those two around. If you want to unclick them, ungroup them, if you will, you can just click anywhere on the page. And then you can just play with this and make it look exactly the way you want it. And there you have a page or an ad, or, you know, if you're doing a printable, anything that you want to do, you do the same like this. Okay, so now I want to save it. So I'm going to hit File, and then I like to hit Save As, and then you can title this and make sure it's going into the right file at the top. Classics at the Riviera poster, even though it's not really a poster size. That's just what I'm going to say, and save it. Now if you want to save as a JPEG, or that saves it as a Photoshop Elements file. And I always do both, because if I decide I want to change something, then I can go into the Elements file, my layers are still there, and I can change anything I want around and then resave it. But if you don't save it as a Photoshop Elements file, you can't change anything later. You'd have to start over. So once you have it saved as a Photoshop Elements file, then you want to save it as a PNG or a JPEG, or even save it for the web. There's different choices. So let's see, I would do Save As again, and then you can hit the type of file that you want, and I always do PNG because I like PNGs better. They're sharper and crisper than a JPEG. And save. And then I really don't know what this means. I should look that up. I just hit OK, and I've never had a problem. And then if I want to save it and I'm going to use it on my blog or something, and I want it to be smaller size, I will do image, and then I'll hit resize, image size, and then for my blog I always do a 750 by, and then whatever number on these two is larger, I will change to 750, and the other one will automatically fit. And since we have a square, this would be 750 by 750. Then I hit OK. It'll make it smaller, but I don't save this one. I do a save for web. And this is how it is. This is how it will look. And then I hit save, and then I make sure it's going in the right spot. And you can change the title down here if you want to, and then hit save again. And then when I close this out, it'll ask you if you want to save it at the smaller size, and I say no. Okay, so now if you want to close all your little elements back out, you just hit the X. They'll all come up. That's the original one we had here. Nope. Okay, and there you have it. We're all done. We saved it. We made a page. It was fun. Thanks you guys for watching. See you later.